They weren't supposed to survive, a ragtag group of explorers facing treacherous rivers, towering mountains, and starvation, but somehow, they did. And at the heart of their survival, a young woman carrying her infant on her back, Sacagawea. But what if I told you that everything you thought you knew about her is only half the story? Sacagawea is often remembered as the Native American woman who helped Lewis and Clark navigate the uncharted West. You've probably seen her name on dollar coins, heard about her guiding the expedition through dangerous terrain, or maybe even learned that she was an interpreter. But there's a lot more to her story than just a helpful guide. She wasn't just along for the ride, she was a survivor, a mother, and a crucial key to the expedition's success. But how did a kidnapped Shoshone girl sold into marriage to a French trader end up shaping the course of American history, and what did she endure along the way? Let's uncover the real story of Sacagawea's mind-blowing journey with Lewis and Clark, a girl stolen from her people. Sacagawea's journey didn't begin with the Lewis and Clark expedition. It started years earlier when she was just a young girl, living among the Shoshone people in the rugged lands of what is now Idaho. Life was already harsh, cold winters, scarce food, constant battles with rival tribes, but nothing could prepare her for what happened next. Around the age of 12, Sacagawea was kidnapped by the Hidatsa, a powerful and aggressive tribe that raided Shoshone villages. In one terrifying attack, her world was ripped apart. She was taken from her homeland, forced to march hundreds of miles to an unfamiliar place, surrounded by enemies who spoke a language she didn't understand. She was no longer Sacagawea, the Shoshone girl. She was now a captive, a bargaining chip in a world where survival meant power. A forced marriage and an unexpected opportunity. Sacagawea's life as a captive wasn't just about survival, it was about control. She was eventually sold to a French-Canadian fur trader named Toussaint Charbonneau, and by sold we mean married off against her will. Charbonneau, nearly 3 times her age, took Sacagawea and another woman as his wives. For years she lived under his control, but despite her status, she never lost the knowledge and skills she had learned as a Shoshone girl. She still knew the land, the plants, the water sources. She still understood the rhythms of nature that could mean the difference between life and death. And that knowledge? It was about to become her greatest asset. In 1804, 2 men arrived at Charbonneau's village looking for help. Their names? Meriwether Lewis and William Clark. They were leading a daring mission, an expedition to map and explore the newly acquired Louisiana territory. And they needed a guide. Charbonneau offered his services, boasting about his Shoshone wife who could communicate with the tribes they would encounter. That woman was Sacagawea, and just like that, her fate was sealed. The Corps of Discovery set out in the spring of 1805, but there was something unusual about this journey. Sacagawea wasn't just a guide, she was a mother. She had just given birth to her son, Jean-Baptiste, only weeks before they left. Think about that for a second. A teenage mother, barely recovered from childbirth, embarking on one of the most grueling expeditions in American history. No comfort, no medical help, no guarantees of survival, just her infant, and a journey into the unknown. She carried her baby on her back, wrapped in a cradleboard, as she waded through icy rivers, climbed rocky cliffs, and pushed through suffocating heat. While the men around her struggled to adapt, Sacagawea moved through the wilderness with quiet resilience. But she wasn't just surviving, she was saving the expedition time and time again. Sacagawea wasn't just along for the ride, she played a crucial role in helping the expedition communicate with various Native American tribes. Her ability to speak both Shoshone and Hidatsa allowed her to translate vital information. But it wasn't just about words, it was about trust. When the Corps of Discovery encountered the Shoshone, the success of the expedition depended on whether they could secure horses to cross the formidable Rocky Mountains. And guess who their key negotiator was? Sacagawea. When she realized the Shoshone chief was her own long-lost brother, HistopiaYT, the moment was nothing short of miraculous. Through her translation and personal connection, she helped the expedition obtain the horses they desperately needed. Beyond translation, Sacagawea's deep knowledge of the land was invaluable. She knew which plants could be eaten and which could be used for medicine. She recognized safe paths through treacherous landscapes. When the group was on the brink of starvation, she found edible roots and berries. When supplies were lost in a river accident, she remained calm and retrieved vital items, including journals and maps that could have changed the course of history if lost. One of the most overlooked aspects of Sacagawea's presence? She was a woman with a baby. In the harsh world of frontier diplomacy, that mattered. To many native tribes, the presence of a woman and child signaled that the expedition was not a war party. It made other tribes more likely to engage in peaceful exchanges rather than immediate conflict. Without Sacagawea, Lewis and Clark might have faced hostility at every turn. After 2 years, thousands of miles, and unimaginable hardship, the expedition finally reached the Pacific Ocean. But what happened to Sacagawea after that? Some records suggest she returned with Charbonneau and lived a quiet life. Others hint at a different fate, that she left and lived among the Comanche, or even that she traveled south and died decades later. The mystery of Sacagawea's later years only adds to her legend. What we do know? Her son Jean-Baptiste went on to be educated in Europe, a rare opportunity for a child born into such circumstances. Her legacy endured, even if history tried to erase parts of it. Sacagawea wasn't just a guide. She was the backbone of the expedition, the bridge between cultures and a symbol of resilience. Without her, Lewis and Clark might not have made it to the Pacific. And yet, history has often reduced her to a footnote, a helper, a side character, but the truth? She was the expedition's secret weapon. If you want more hidden history like this, subscribe now.